Welcome onto the campus of Beverly High School, everyone. Welcome onto the campus at Beverly High School, everyone. JJ Sylvia here along with Evan Alfano for today's afternoon Northeast Conference 7-on-7 field hockey action between the Panthers of Beverly High School and the Magicians of Marblehead High School. Evan, the Panthers are looking to really kind of turn a new leaf over this year after a bit of a struggle last year.
Yeah, for sure. It was a barely missed the playoffs. Coach Trish Murphy in her 12th year, sitting at 157, 51, and 25 right now. So again, they've had a lot of returners from last season, looking to use that experience to help get them off to a better start.
And on the other side for Marblehead, Evan, we have a 43rd year coach in Linda Rice Collins, who has this Marblehead crew fresh off another MIAA tournament appearance. They lost in the first round, obviously, to 4-0 score to Manchester Essex, but they're looking to improve on what the result was last year and make even more strides this year.
Yeah, they had a solid season, 8-8-1, and able to get into the postseason, and again, something to build upon. They have 12 seniors coming back, so it's a very veteran roster. I'm trying to use that experience, that leadership this season for Coach Linda Collins. Again, her 43rd year, she's got 286 wins to her name, so a lot of experience overall in the team, the coaching staff, to the players, and they're looking for a good start this season.
A lot of times in many sports, Evan, we see it. You know, veteran coaches mixed with veteran players. It's a recipe for a very deep championship run in most sports. So a lot of heavy and high expectations for Marblehead going into this season. Beverly starts off in their attacking zone, and a bit of a touch on foot, looking like it'll stay with the Panthers. In the midfield, it's Noelle McLean. Back into the middle as it's fired in the direction of the cage, and it'll trickle towards the near corner on the left side of the field. Nice block there by Elsa Hawks, and Beverly keeps the ball for the moment, but it went off of Hawks' foot, and it will go back to Marblehead. Just a few minutes gone here at Beverly High School. 11:20 is the clock time at the moment. Back in the other direction now come the Magicians across midfield. First attacking zone time for the Magicians this afternoon. Well, Evan, it's a brand new field hockey season this year and a much different format than what we're used to due to the COVID-19 outbreak, but obviously a lot more open space on the field, so we're going to be looking for some big booming offensive plays, some long passes, and some very creative offensive setups from both sides.
Yeah, for sure. Again, 7-on-7, it allows for a lot of space for both teams, and like you said, creativity to set up different plays, get players in different parts of the field to get shots on the cage. I'm excited to see what teams are able to do. One new thing you might not be able to see, these cones set up right on the edge of the field with some balls, and that's how the players are going to be able to get the ball and get it back into play, so try to not touch it as much.
Just one of the many new changes this year for the MIAA is many of those proposals passed, just setting up a safer environment for student athletes, as that one trickles behind the cage over there behind Julia Otterbein, and Beverly will get the ball back and look to move forward. Otterbein, along with another one of her teammates in Jamie DuPont, Evan, they both also play for Beverly's co-op hockey team with Danvers and Ipswich, so some experience all year round with the stick for these girls.
Yeah, definitely between the pipes, a lot of experience there, and yeah, obviously two very different sports, but again, to have players that have played together. Chance right here.
And good save there by Otterbein, but a whistle looking like it might have been a touch on foot down there in the circle for Marblehead. So the ball will go back to the Panthers. 9:33 to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, like I was saying, again, to have players play on different teams, different sports together, it allows for kind of that cohesiveness and the team chemistry, and That's definitely important for this Beverly squad, looking to have a much better season this year.
Julia Otterbein, we've mentioned her name a couple times already, goes by the nickname Bill in between the pipes this afternoon for Beverly. A little bit late, but let's get the starting lineups for these two sides. Evan, we'll talk about Beverly first. We've got Noelle McLean in number 1 up front with Jamie DuPont and Elsa Hawks in the midfield. We've got Carissa Murphy and Ann Curtin on the back end, and then obviously Otterbein in between the pipes. So that's what Beverly will look like in terms of their 7. And then on the other side for Marblehead, it's May Caldwell and Tess Keeney up front with Kanan Whittier and Maddie Monahan in the midfield, Haven Linehan and Anastasia Ziazulia on the back end, with Emily Doman in between the pipes for them this afternoon.
Absolutely. Nice play by Otterbein there to kick that ball out. And yeah, experience is kind of the name of the game for both sides. And eager to see right now the play being controlled a bit by Marblehead as Beverly, excuse me. I do some broadcasts for Endicott. I make that mistake a few times. But Beverly had some control early, and right now we're seeing Marblehead kind of change the motion of this game here and get some chances on the cage.
Some dangerous play there by the Panthers, and Marblehead's going to get another faraway shot opportunity here, as that one's hammered on and ricochets off a couple bodies in front. One of those there was Murphy for the Panthers, looking like the ball will stay with the Magicians. Clock continues to run under 8 minutes to go in this first quarter. We're still scoreless. And Evan, we've talked about how this is the season opener. So both these teams, obviously, there's some rust to shake off and a late start to the year because of COVID. So how do you feel? How do you think the girls on the field feel right now in terms of trying to adapt to these new circumstances?
I think it's definitely a work in progress. I think they've been able to do it in practice and kind of practice what it's going to look like in a real game situation. I think both teams are very excited to be able to have a chance against a different competition that's not just themselves. And I think it's a lot of excitement and definitely a learning curve for both sides, getting used to having more field to work with, being just 7-on-7.
It's been mentioned multiple times in the Salem news over the last couple of years. Beverly, a storied field hockey program, known for their consistent appearances in the tournament. Another kick save there by Otterbein. And a whistle will keep it with Marblehead. So for the last about 3 or 4 minutes, Evan, the Magicians have been absolutely pestering Julia Otterbein.
Yeah, they've got a lot of control right now. And again, here they are attacking again. It's definitely Endicott Beverly trying to weather the storm right now to get going.
Hammered on, and a nice block in front by Murphy again. Ball staying with Marblehead. That one pushed back to the far side. Not going to work. Continuing the pressure, however, is Linehan. A whiff on that one. Stick came up too high. Ball going back to Beverly, and the Panthers a chance to get the ball moving. Nice interception there in the midfield, however, so Marblehead continuing to show their prowess early on in this game. That interception was done so by Jane O'Neill. O'Neill, one of the first subs coming into the game. And Evan, with this 7-on-7 format, it opens up the possibility for more substitutions throughout the game as opposed to the few and far between ones that we're used to with the normal field hockey regulations. So it's definitely new territory for everyone this year.
Absolutely. An opportunity to get some more players on the field. There's a chance here for Beverly.
A shot on, and it was blocked on its way in, and it trickles out of bounds behind the cage. The one to do the honors of shooting there looked like it was DuPont. Multiple subs checking into the game for both sides. It was Brooke Davies who took that last shot. A whistle will keep it with Beverly. Just over 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Another touch on foot gives the ball back to Marblehead. But Davies not allowing any space for the Magicians to clear. Davies once again with a pickoff in the midfield. Now Davies at the 50-yard line slaps it up ahead, but didn't get as much of the stick on it as she wanted to. Another interception for the Marblehead midfielders, and now the Magicians back in the other direction as it's hammered towards the cage, but it will trickle well wide of Otterbein in between those pipes.
It's a nice play in the midfield by May Caldwell, one of the captains for Marblehead, to get right in the midfield, create the turnover, get the ball, and quickly get it upfield and create a chance for Marblehead to try to get the opening goal of the game.
Curtin slaps it down the field, and nobody was home on that one. So the ball will go back to Marblehead once more. A lot of ball control by the Magicians so far in this game, and they have really set the tone for how this game looks so far. Stick coming up a little too high there, and it went out of bounds nonetheless. Marblehead to keep the ball. Pushed back into the middle of the field for Salisbury, and she'll have to take it again. Lily Salisbury looks up ahead, connecting. Marblehead trying to establish some more offensive pressure as Otterbein will kick that long shot back out of the circle. Nice rebound opportunity here. Push back in front again, and a lot of bodies there in front of Julia Otterbein, and somehow she still keeps it out.
Otterbein a little busy early in this first quarter for the Panthers.
A little bit of a bobbling ball there also goes wide to the left. So Marblehead having getting their opportunities so far, but having a hard time getting it on cage at times when there's a lot of traffic in front.
Yeah, for sure. And the defensive back line, Murphy, Curtin, of course, Otterbein in goal. They've done a nice job so far kind of weathering that storm. And again, it's early in the season, maybe some nerves, a little bit of rust for Beverly. They're trying to work the kinks out and just kind of, again, weather the storm, and they'll get their chances as this game goes on.
Sophie Rogers playing some nice defense on her number partner, Jane O'Neill. Ball staying with O'Neill on this near sideline. O'Neill shoots it back into the middle of the circle. A whistle will give the ball back to Beverly. 2:42 remaining in this first quarter. A scoreless tie so far in this first game of the season for both schools. Pushed back towards the circle again. Great defense continually on the back end so far by Beverly. The shots have been coming, but Beverly's been up to the task.
Absolutely. Been very impressed with Marblehead. Again, a playoff team last year, making it to just the first round, but again, a good solid season. And they're, again, with a lot of returners, they're definitely looking to build on that, and it's been a great start so far.
Tegan Sherwood was having a little bit of trouble with that one, and it will trickle behind the Beverly cage once again. Looking like Sherwood's going to keep it. Probably last touch by the Panthers before it went out of bounds on that particular occasion. D-to-D pass over to the near side for a hammer on. It got blocked. Now trickle back out in front, tipped, and another kick save, Otterbein. Bill's been up to the task so far, Evan.
Absolutely, and a nice defensive effort there from the Panthers to make sure that would stay out. It's a nice block off the stick of, I believe it was Sophie Rogers who made the play.
Beverly looking to turn defense into offense, but some dangerous play there as the stick came up a little too high that time. Ball going back to Marblehead. Marblehead has controlled the pace for most of this first quarter, and Beverly has struggled to establish much offensive pressure with the occasional spotty rush. Panthers will definitely need to readdress with head coach Trish Murphy after this first quarter, as we're under a minute to go. Another shot was blocked on the way in, ball going back to Beverly.
I don't think it's a matter of Beverly not playing their best. I just think Marblehead's really, they've come into town and they're just playing very solid field hockey right now and just kind of staying aggressive and pushing up on Beverly, and they've made it challenging for Beverly to try to sustain any offensive pressure the other way.
A nice pickoff there by number 1, under 30 seconds to go, and she'll try to dance her way through the midfield. Has a little bit of trouble with it, however. Multiple Magicians in the area to prevent her from moving any further. Magicians back in the other direction again, under 10 seconds to go now. Push towards the circle and coming out quite a bit far right there was Otterbein to kick that one out as we conclude this first quarter of play. Evan, 1 quarter gone so far in this first 7-on-7 game of the season for the Northeast Conference. What are your thoughts?
Well, it was definitely the first minute or two, it was Beverly that made a few chances offensively, but then Marblehead really settled down and kind of controlled the pace. I like the play from number 3, May Caldwell played well, and Anastasia Zazulia were the 2 players that kind of stood out to me up front for Marblehead making some plays in the midfield, defensively to Caldwell, and then Zulia helping to create some chances offensively. And for Beverly, it's early. Again, you have 3 more quarters to go. Just kind of settle it down and, again, talk right now with Coach Murphy and just figure out what needs to be done to change up the momentum here going into the second quarter.
Panthers and Magicians will be right back here on BevCam Sportsnet. Back here at Beverly High School for the start of the second quarter, a 0-0 draw so far between the Panthers and Magicians. J.J. Sylvia along with Evan Alfano. Evan, in the first quarter, Julia Otterbein, a.k.a. Bill, was absolutely stellar in between the pipes for Beverly.
She was really strong to start off this season. No rust at all seen in Otterbein as she made some nice saves. The one at the very end of the quarter where she kind of ran out and aggressively was far out of her cage but able to kick it away. Shows she's very confident between the pipes so far. That's important for Beverly.
Evan and I mentioned earlier, Evan mentioned Endicott, and we do a lot of work over at Endicott College for the Gulls field hockey team, and I've seen a lot of glimpses of a goalie by the name of Taylor Farron in Julia Otterbein. Farron, also a very aggressive goalkeeper, isn't afraid to step up as far as she needs to get the ball out of harm's way. And Otterbein showing a lot of those skills that make for a very strong goalkeeper. And obviously, Evan, if you're head coach Trish Murphy, a strong goalkeeper is the foundation of any good field hockey team.
Yeah, I think to have success, it starts with your defense. I hear all the time, defense wins championships, and I believe that. And yeah, it starts with your very back, your last line of defense with Otterbein, and she's looked solid early on. And yeah, it's definitely going to be very important for them. And here's Beverly with a chance.
Beverly with one of their first big offensive opportunities, fired on, and a quick kick save there by Doman. Beverly once again trying, and another save Doman. Beverly's going to keep the ball. So Beverly, Evan, after having a rough time getting that offensive pressure going in the first quarter, we see some quick spurts of offense early on in the second.
Absolutely, it's just a perfect start that Coach Murphy wanted for Beverly, and Doman having to come out and make a couple saves. I believe it's her first couple of the game.
Big block there in the midfield by Jane O'Neill. We've said her name a lot defensively. O'Neill has been working hard, getting her stick into passing and shooting lanes, and should Marblehead grab a victory today, she'll be one of the big reasons why that we'll talk about. Another whistle keeping the ball with Beverly. Panthers looking to kind of trade spots in terms of how the game's been going with the Magicians and get some more offensive attacking area time. Right about the 25-yard line, it's slapped over to the near side and was trying to be collected by Hawks, but she got a little too rough with the stick, ended up tripping over the defender for Marblehead. And now the Magicians back in the other direction. Well, Evan, we talked a little bit earlier on about Linda Rice-Collins and how this is her 43rd year at the helm of this Marblehead Magicians program. 43 years. Must have a lot of wins in those years. Absolutely.
286 of them to be exact. It's incredible the level of success she's had and the sustained success. Now she's been able to continue to create winning programs year in, year out. It's a testament to her coaching ability and how she's able to bring, doesn't matter if it's an experienced team or a young team, she's able to put a good team together, a cohesive unit, and get a lot of wins. It showed.
Beverly trying to stifle any potential restart of Marblehead's first quarter dominance. Push towards the circle, but quickly there to steer that one out of harm's way was Ann Curtin. Moved up the field now for Elsa Hawks. Hawks is met quickly by Kanan Whittier. Looking like it'll be back to Marblehead ball, and it will. Elmer Grace to handle the honors, and Grace Elmer will handle the honors. Elmer pushes it towards the circle, but once again cleared very quickly by Curtin. And Curtin on the back end for Beverly so far. We talk about Otterbein, but Curtin deserves tons of credit as well.
Curtin's been strong back there, blocking a few shots, creating some turnovers. She's definitely been one of the best defenders out there so far for the Panthers. Here she is again.
Also worth noting, Curtin always scanning the field and trying to find the best place to throw these clearing attempts that she is putting out, because she wants to make sure that now both you and I have made that mistake today, Evan. Now Beverly has tried to create more of a quick transition offense going from one side of the field to the other, and Curtin could be a big reason why they're able to make that a success.
Yeah, everyone, even including us, breaking off the rust today. And yeah, she's not blindly just getting the ball out. She's staying calm and composed with the ball on her stick, looking up and looking to create offensive opportunities for her teammates.
Ann Curtin, one of the seniors on this team, so she was on that 2018 team that saw tons of success and made it to the MIAA D2 tournament. Hawks pushing it up the field, trying to connect. Unable to do so. Marblehead back in the other direction once again. Curtin has a double team on her and just throws this one over to the sideline to suspend the attack from the Magicians.
Safe play at two Magician offensive players in front of her. Didn't want to make it too risky and create a chance for the Magicians right in front of the cage. So it's a safe play right there. Just knock it out of harm's way.
Marblehead keeping the ball. Under 10 minutes to go in this first half. Curtin once again trying to steer the ball away from her goalkeeper, Julia Otterbein. Push back to the far side. Nobody home there. Very lucky bounce there for Julia Otterbein, as she was already, once that ball got moving, she was already making a beeline for the backside.
Yeah, it's good awareness. Here she is stepping forward to knock that away. Good awareness of what's happening around her, where opponents are, where the ball is.
Marblehead keeping it. Hammered on, and another big block by the Panthers as they continue to play some very strong defense.
That was Maddie Carter who stepped up right there to get the block.
Curtin up towards midfield, another interception for the Magicians. Marblehead back on the move with numbers. Fired on, and it's blocked by Curtin. Looks like it might have gone off her foot, so it will go back to Marblehead. Evan, it started off with a bit more of a Marblehead kind of game where the Magicians spent most of their time in their offensive end, but it's been kind of split even since the second quarter has started. Another save there by Otterbein as it is finally pushed out of harm's way.
Yeah, Beverly had a few chances there to start the second quarter. Similar to what we saw in the first quarter. Beverly gets off on the front foot first, then Marblehead settles down and starts to control the game, and we're seeing that again here in the second quarter.
Marblehead looking to answer, another kick out by Otterbein. Another shot on it's a bobbling one, a chance here in front. Otterbein makes the first stop, and then the second. Tries to kick it out, didn't get as much on it as she wanted to. Marblehead continuing to fire on, and finally the first goal of the game, and it's Tuskini to do it for the Magicians.
Yeah, and it felt like that was coming. Otterbein doing all she can. I think she kicked out 3 or 4 before finally the ball finds Keeney, who knocks it into the back of the cage. Just again, continue to pound away, shot after shot. It took about 4 or 5 chances where they finally found the back of the net there. And again, Otterbein did all she could, but it's Marblehead. It felt like they'd get that first goal, and there it is.
Tuskini, one of the captains and a senior, one of 12 for this Marblehead squad, notches her first goal of the season. And Evan, if you're Julia Otterbein, obviously you can't get fazed, because despite that one goal, it really wasn't your fault when you make 4 or 5 saves before it goes in.
Absolutely. It's one that had to be cleared there. We're hearing from the sideline yelling, clear, 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 and just too much pressure from Marblehead in the end. But I'm interested to see now, Beverly, is that kind of the wake-up call, and do we see some more pressure for them as they try to get this game tied again?
Curtin once again with the ball on her stick in the Beverly back end. Pushed up the field as the Panthers look to draw even with the Magicians, and now they'll get their first opportunity across midfield onto their offensive side of the field. Just a hair under 7 minutes to go in this first half. Another ball picked off by Marblehead. And once again, I mean, Evan, the story for the Magicians so far has been really their play in the midfield, because every time it seems that Beverly tries to create a transition offense going the other way, there seems to be 2 or 3 Marblehead Magicians right there to steal the ball.
Yeah, I've seen players, captains, Nate Caldwell, Maddie Monahan in that midfield, not allowing the Panthers to create really much going up the field. It's been impressive so far.
Another save for Bill, as that one's fired towards the back door, nobody home, and it'll trickle behind the cage.
That was off the stick of the goal scorer Keeney there, so the Panthers will regain some possession here.
Beverly, as we mentioned already, 4-10-4 last year, so a bit of an uncharacteristic year for the Panthers, but with a number of returning players on both sides, and specifically Beverly, I think that there's obviously some expectation that Trish Murphy will be able to kind of establish, again, a winning culture here in Beverly for field hockey this year.
Absolutely, and the goal, or one of the goals, is definitely to get to the postseason this year. It's a very uncharacteristic season last year for the Panthers, and I think everyone's hungry. Again, with so many returners, they know what happened last year.
Push back in the middle. Otterbein sort of out of position, able to get herself back, and now a transition opportunity coming for the Panthers, but it is quickly pushed away. Once again, Haven Linehan has been absolutely stellar on the back end, and she's just kind of been a stopper for this Marblehead squad so far on the defensive end.
Absolutely trying to find Davies up the field, Brooke Davies, but just, again, a nice play stepping up to knock that away. But again, we've seen flashes from Beverly of offensive opportunities and chances, and that was one right there. Marblehead right now, they're just a bit quicker getting to these loose balls and coming back the other way.
Pushed back towards the goal again by Tess Keeney, who has the only tally for Marblehead so far. Another kick saved by Otterbein, this time off a shot by May Caldwell. Marblehead continuing to pressure. Nice interception in the midfield there for Beverly. Let's see if they can now turn it into offense. Great pressure in the offensive end by Marblehead. Once the ball comes off their sticks, Evan, Marblehead jumps on the ball carrier for Beverly. Absolutely,
there's a good battle there between both teams. And yeah, again, Beverly trying to get that pressure. Here they are heading up the field to see what they can try to capitalize on a chance.
Panthers, for the 3rd time in this quarter, will spend some time in their offensive end as they try to swing it over towards the middle, and this time they get it done on the second opportunity. Another strong defensive stand by the Magicians, and defense will turn into offense, Evan, as we've seen so far. Now it'll get slapped up the field. It'll go past Curtin, and a rush chance opportunity here. Curtin able to make up the ground, however.
Good hustle from Curtin. Just turn around and go after that loose ball and get Beverly going the other way.
Last few minutes have turned into a seesaw battle between these two sides. Pushed over to the far side and out of bounds at just about the 50-yard line. As we go under 3 minutes to go in this first half, 1-0 in favor of the Marblehead Magicians. Goal coming from senior captain Tess Keeney. Another shot from way out goes wide to the left of Otterbein. Beverly will get it back this time as there were no touches on its way back there.
Beverly playing the bit more urgency here as we're just under 2.5 to go in the second quarter. Had a little bit more possession of recent.
Tough time handling the ball there for Curtin, but she redeems herself as she continues to be a stone wall on the defensive end. Marblehead will keep the ball. Another big opportunity here for the Magicians, kicked out by Otterbein. The pressure continues to come, but Julia Otterbein, minus the one shot that she let through, has been up for every single task. Beverly looking to create some offense now. Slapped up the field, looking in the direction of Hawken. And she gets it. Or Hawks, I should say. Elsa Hawks now on the far side of the field. We'll watch it trickle out of bounds, looking like it will go back to Marblehead. Just over a minute and a half to go. It will actually stay with Beverly, as I think Hawks and I were both fooled on that one about whose ball it was.
And Hawks had just checked in. It's like an ice hockey player coming out of the penalty box. She's able to spring forwards and get Beverly going the other way.
A swing to the middle and a push towards the circle, but it was blocked on its way in. Beverly keeping the ball. Or actually, my apologies, it'll be Marblehead ball. So, Evan, Marblehead, after what we saw as a scoreless tie so far, has broken the ice in the first goal of the season, and it comes off the stick of one of their most popular and talented players in Tess Keeney.
Yeah, it took a while, and we talked about how they were pressuring the majority of the first quarter and the second, kind of midsection of the second quarter, and it was a deserved goal. It was a fifth chance. Otterbein had made about 4 saves consecutively, but Keeney, again, the captain, has a nose for the goal and is able to find one.
Under a minute to go in this first half, as the Magicians will take a minute to grab a ball from these cones that Evan and I were speaking about earlier.
Very similar setup in soccer. I was able to call a game in boys soccer a couple of days ago. And they actually have Beverly players will come around the side and be the ball boys. They had about 4 on this side of the field and use them to, again, so players aren't, because you're not allowed to have throw-ins, so they don't want players to use their hands with the ball. So similar to field hockey, making sure players aren't handling the ball with their hands at all.
It truly is an uncharted territory this year for all of us, athletes, broadcasters, coaches, administrators included. With the changes made due to COVID-19, it's a completely different ball game than it's ever been. Just 2 seconds to go now for the Panthers. They've got to hurry as the clock strikes 0, and the first half has come to an end. 1-0 in favor of Marblehead over Beverly after one half. And Evan, it's been a bit of a tough start for the Panthers to this season.
Yeah, and Marblehead's really been the more aggressive team and played better offensively. They deserved that one goal. And Beverly, we saw some flash there at the end of the second quarter, led by Elsa Hawks, who sprang in late there and started to get the ball off the field. So, again, just looking for a little more aggression at the second half. As they look for that tying goal. They're just down 1, so they're still right in this game.
We're going to be back in just a few minutes to start the second half. JJ Sylvia along with Evan Alfano here on BevCam Sportsnet.
You are watching BevCam. Here, anyone can come to the studio to make their own local TV show. Contact us with your idea. We'll help you get started with producing your own show, editing it, and then we'll broadcast it to all of Beverly for your friends and family to see. You might even get some new fans. We also film local events like sports, music, city council meetings, and more. If you miss out on anything in town, you can catch up on it here. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Contact us at 978-927-5544 or email us at admin@bevcam.org.
Got a quarter?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Listen.
All it took was someone who would insist that I just try.
Suddenly, everything was turned around because they judged you.
And we're back here at Beverly High School. JJ Sylvia along with Evan Alfano for the second half of this game between Beverly and Marblehead. Evan, there was a scoreless, kind of like a trench match for the first quarter and a half of this game, but then the ice was finally broken and Tess Keeney was the one to do it for the Magicians.
Yeah, it was definitely a strong first half from the Magicians. I'm excited to see what Beverly can do here to open up the second half. It was a deserved goal for Marblehead, but it's just one goal. It's 1-0, and both teams are right in it. And I'm excited to see how Coach Murphy and her Panthers come out and respond.
I counted at least 5 saves in the first half for Julia Otterbein. So the goalkeeper for the Panthers was quite busy, and based on how the Marblehead attack has been so far, I don't expect that to change in the second half, Evan.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what's able to happen. The defense, but the name of the game starts with the Panthers. Again, Andy Curtin out there defensively, as well as Karis Murphy has been good in front of Otterbein. We'll see what the offense has in store for us here in half number 2.
Marblehead starting off much like they did in the first half in their offensive end. Whistle looks like it will keep it with the Magicians. So, as we mentioned already, 1-0 in favor of Marblehead, and that is the score that we've seen since about the midway point of the second quarter. Beverly to get the ball back now, and the Panthers will look to advance. Doing the honors for Beverly is Caroline Hickey. Pushed up the field for number 1, and she's got a defender to dance by, and she will be unable to do so as it trickles out of bounds. Back to Marblehead ball. About a minute and a half gone in this second half. Ball going back to Marblehead again as it continues to be a seesaw battle between these two squads, minus the 1 goal, Evan. It's really been a back-and-forth battle, and a lot of the game has been played in the midfield.
Yeah, some more aggression here from Beverly to start the second half. Sydney Ruggieri, number 1, right here in front of us, battling to gain some possession. But yeah, like you said, it's been a lot of midfield opportunities so far.
Crisp passing here by Marblehead, move towards the circle. A quick save by Otterbein. Another chance avoided as Otterbein will kick it back out. It'll stay Marblehead ball. The Magicians put a number of shots towards goal in that first half, and they will look to continue that trend and possibly build on their lead over Beverly. The Panthers, on the other hand, have not seen much offensive end time so far in this game, but they'll look to improve on that.
Yeah, they continue to battle. It's definitely frustrating not have many chances, but they're continuing to fight defensively and battle for some balls in the midfield and just looking to create that one chance, because all they need is that one chance to get this game tied.
Another great defensive stand by Beverly as they move it up the field. Pass over to number 1, who quickly has her pocket picked on the back end by Kanan Whittier again. And we've talked about Whittier a lot in this game so far, not only on the defensive end, but she's also put some shots on the offensive end as well, Evan.
Yeah, Whittier's a player that can play really at any position all over the field, and when it's 7-on-7, there's chances for her to...
Another opportunity here for Marblehead. The shot just barely kept out at the goal line. Another opportunity, and it's shot wide. So great defense. I'm not sure who swooped in at the last second there for the Panthers to knock it off the goal line. It might have actually been Elsa Hawks, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was a big scramble in there. It was right on the line, it seemed. And, yeah, that was a great save by the player there to make sure that this game remains close.
So what could have been a 2-0 game stays 1-0. Let's see if the Panthers can capitalize. Great pressure put on by the captain, May Colwell. And now it's moved back into the middle for a shot that's whiffed on, and that stick came up a bit too high, so Beverly ball pushed up ahead, and now some numbers moving for the Panthers. Beverly looking to muster some offensive pressure. Great job of defense in the midfield once again for Marblehead, but it gets spoiled a little bit by a touch on foot, so Beverly will keep it about 10 yards back.
Noelle McLean right here with possession.
Hammered up the field, not many Panthers home, so it'll trickle out of bounds, and it will go back to Marblehead possession. We're about to creep under 10 minutes to go in this third quarter.
It's Jamie DuPont who gains possession right here.
Davies trying to battle, having a bit of a hard time, but will keep the ball. Brooke Davies, a sophomore, hammers it towards goal from quite a bit of a ways away. It goes just wide on the near side. Ball will go back to Marblehead as we are now under 10 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Some flashes here, though, from the Panthers that they've created some good chances heading up the field. Seeing Jamie DuPont with some opportunities. Number 1's been battling to gain some possession.
The good thing that we've seen from Marblehead, however, Evan, is how quick their passes are. And obviously in field hockey, you don't have much time to, handle the ball and move with the ball and pass the ball when you're playing against good teams, because they're going to be right on you defensively. So far, that's been pretty much the case with Beverly, but Marblehead, nonetheless, quick, crisp passes right on the sticks, and it's been working, and it ended up leading to that first goal, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that quick pass has been very impressive so far.
Beverly inching closer and closer to the circle. big key opportunity here. Shot on is kick saved and knocked back down by number 1 towards the back of the goal. They score! And we have a tie game in this one as Beverly has drawn even with Marblehead.
Yeah, that's all it took. Yeah, that's number 1 battling in front, kind of use her stick to control the ball, get it down, and find the back of the cage. And I said earlier, just one chance is all they need to get even, and they capitalized. Really, their first big opportunity, and we've got a brand new ball game here, 1-1.
Huge goal for the Panthers. That has to be a momentum booster for sure. 9:07 the clock, stoppage time remaining here in this third quarter. And we have a 1-1 draw once again. Panthers looking to build on this momentum. Pass up ahead for number 1 again. She has the only goal for the Panthers. Trying to move it up the field. For Marblehead is Kanan Whittier again. Whittier with the ball back on her stick, slaps it up ahead. It's a bobbling one, but she connects with one of her teammates. Pushed towards the goal by Jane O'Neill, and it's kicked away once again by Julia Otterbein.
Good response from Marblehead, but I'm kind of seeing more of a pep in the step of these Panthers. Excited to get that first goal out of the way, and definitely momentum starting to head in their direction a little bit.
Great interception there in the midfield. And now Beverly will look to make something happen out of that. Brooke Davies again showing her defensive prowess. Actually, sorry, that is DuPont again. Jerseys for Beverly. 8 and 9 look quite similar, Evan, but I'm sure we'll be able to figure it out through the rest of this game. I really should know Jamie DuPont's name, too. I've called a couple of games for her as she played for the Beverly Danvers Ipswich Girls Hockey Co-op. Is a very strong forward in hockey. Has a really good wrist shot, very good stick handling ability, and I'm sure some of those skills are just transferred over from being such a good field hockey player.
Absolutely, she got a strong stick. We've seen that so far today. She's helped really create some offensive opportunities here in this third quarter.
Beverly continuing to pressure as that time Lily Shea was trying to get it towards the circle and she was unable to do so. She whiffed on it and it went out of bounds. Beverly keeping it, nice interception by number 1.
That was impressive, a bouncing ball, but still able to get that hand-eye coordination, knock the ball down.
Beverly continuing with the pressure as they would like to turn some defense into more offense. They've tied the game. Now the goal is to continue moving and get the game untied.
For sure, and a lot of players stepping up. I've seen Noel McLean make some nice plays. Sydney Ruggieri in the midfield made some nice plays. Yeah, both teams battling. Beverly looking stronger.
Big chance here for Marblehead, fired towards the back door. Otterbein with the kick save, and she kicks it once more to make sure it gets back out of harm's way. Up ahead for number 1, and she sees the open field and takes advantage of it, dribbling it down into the Marblehead end. Giving chase is DuPont.
I don't want to say one team's playing too well because I believe in the broadcaster's jinx. I think it exists, so if I say one team's playing well, then the other team's going to go over and score.
Broadcaster's jinx, a very real thing, folks. I promise you. Up ahead for number 1, she dances by one defender, tries to get the ball back to her stick, and is going to get some help from the referee. Or the official, I should say. I believe it's an official in this sport.
We can just call them the people with the neon yellow jackets.
Yes. The neon people. That sounds
I like that.
Yeah. Beverly looking to maintain pressure. Lily Shea tries to slap it in there. Number 1 picks a pocket of one Marblehead defender as she tried to get it back towards the goal. Another whistle, and Marblehead will keep the ball.
Maddie Monahan right there for Marblehead battling to gain possession for the Magicians.
Back and forth we go. Another seesaw in the midfield. These teams have really stiffened up on defense as this game has progressed. I mean, obviously the 2 goals have been scored, but that only makes the defenders want to play even more aggressively. Another kick save by Otterbein on a dribbling ball that time.
That was May Colwell who fired that shot on frame.
Moved up the field quickly by Carter, and Carter has it taken away from her. Beverly Now it's showing some signs of aggressiveness in the midfield, which could help them in the long run in this game. Under 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Now Marblehead exchanging spots with Beverly as they'll take some offensive zone time.
Both teams showing a lot more aggression here in the second half. They're getting a lot more comfortable as this game wears on.
Pushed out of bounds on the far side, looking like it will stay with Marblehead as Beverly was simply looking to keep it calm for at least the moment. Push towards the circle, it trickles through multiple sticks and Otterbein redirects it to the side. Beverly looking to transition, turn defense into offense. Up the field they come. Marblehead's going to get it back once again.
Kyrus Murphy right there creating a good hustler to try to get the ball back for the Panthers.
Murphy has shown some speed, which if Beverly can take advantage of all this open space and start putting some passes into kind of those voids in their own offensive end, they could end up setting up and using some of that speed that they have to their advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And the team has been on the front foot here in this third quarter. Kind of a polar opposite from the first half and the second half thus far.
Has to be some credit, obviously, to Beverly's head coach, Trish Murphy. Whatever she's been saying to them in the huddle in between quarters has been working because their play has increasingly become more intense and more competitive and more aggressive as the game has gone on.
Yeah, and again, her record shows it all. 157, 51, 25 in her 12th year. She knows how to win. She expects to win. And it's showing here, playing with that winning attitude here in the second half.
Pushed back in front, another save Otterbein, and she was basically tangoing right there with Zazulia, and somehow it stays out.
I was impressed from Otterbein, kind of moving to her left, had to get her pad on it a couple of times to keep it out.
Marblehead to keep the ball. 2.5 minutes remaining in this third quarter, and still a 1-1 draw. Looking like Beverly will get the ball. So Evan, this 7-on-7 format, not something that you and I are normally used to. We've called quite a few collegiate field hockey games together, our first high school one, but the rules are a lot different. And quite honestly, it seems like there's quite a bit of a different pace when you see less players on the field as opposed to what we normally see.
Yeah, a lot more balls kind of being pushed up forward quickly, and players going to go after it, as we see right here. Just kind of put the ball in the space and let your forwards go to work and chase after it. It allows for more of those kind of longer passes because there's a lot more space to work with, a lot more space to pass the ball into. As you can kind of see right now in the middle of the field, there's some openings. Just lots of options for the player with the ball, a lot of different things you can do with it, a lot of places you can go with it, and definitely very fast-paced either way.
Obviously, there are advantages to playing with more space on the field, but obviously, you know, some of these players, especially like Curtin on the back end, who are going to be getting a majority of the minutes, it could sometimes be a bit physically, you know, draining on those types of players just because of how much they actually do have to move with more of the open space being there.
Yeah, especially early in the season, teams trying to get their legs under them. And that comes with time. It comes with just playing more often. Yeah, these early season games might see players getting a little more tired as this match wears into the fourth quarter and under the final minute here of this third quarter.
As Evan already said, we are under a minute to go in this third quarter. Beverly, who had fallen behind earlier in this game, they have stormed back to draw it even. Number one with the goal for the Panthers. Another interception in the midfield, and we've been saying her name all day, and we'll continue to say it until she gives us a reason not to. Anastasia Zazulia in that midfield/defense position has been absolutely stellar. Nothing gets by her.
She's been said her name a few times. I believe that was actually number 10, Jessica West, who made that play in the middle of the field. They said Zazulia. We've tapped her name a bunch of times, kind of in that midfield creating opportunities.
That concludes the third quarter of play. Evan, Beverly was able to get that goal that they needed to tie this one up. What do they have to do in this fourth and final quarter to get the W here at home?
Yeah, more of the same. They've been a lot more aggressive in this third quarter than they were the entirety of the first half. Just a lot more confidence. You can see kind of the spring in their step right now as they jog off the field after this quarter. Just kind of keep that momentum, keep that pressure going, and battle for that second goal.
Panthers looking to continue to build on the momentum they've established after that first goal. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on BevCam Sportsnet. Back here at Beverly High School for the start of the fourth and final quarter, and we continue to see some very even play between these two Northeast Conference rivals. First goal came off the stick of Tess Keeney early on in this game, and that's how we got started. It was in the second quarter, and then in the third, number 1 answering for the Panthers, and that is the score we see at the moment as Beverly and Marblehead do battle for one more quarter here at the high school.
Right in front of us, it's number 1 game possession for the Panthers. They've had a lot more of that here in the second half.
Beverly showing signs of aggressiveness once again, as it will be key to victory this afternoon. Moved up the far side of the field, and there's the passing that we've seen all through this game from Marblehead as that shot goes wide on the far side.
It's Tegan Masters right there. Yeah, we got our stick on it, but roll it just wide.
Beverly will get the ball. And Curtin to try and make the clear. Curtin's clear, quickly picked off by Masters, but Beverly will move it back in the other direction quickly up the field. Number 1 trying to dance by a defender. She's quickly met by Kanan Whittier again. Whittier trying to make something happen, moves it up the field. Back and forth we go as either side is able to establish sustained pressure.
Yeah, midfield battle here to start the fourth quarter. We had that one chance roll wide from Marblehead thus far. It's beautiful Thursday afternoon, perfect weather to open up this home slate for the Panthers.
This is the first of 5 broadcasts that we will do for Beverly Varsity Field Hockey this year. Evan will be with me for some of them, as well as one of our other broadcasting colleagues, Cody Shalafu, will join us for a few games as well. A chance here for Marblehead. No goalkeeper in the cage, and somehow Beverly's still able to keep it out in a whistle.
Yeah, it looks like it was just kind of hanging right there in front of the cage. I saw it kind of sitting there near the line. That's the second time we've had the ball sit right near that goal line, but just Beverly doing just enough to make sure it doesn't go in.
And this is going to be probably the worst case scenario here, as it looks like there was some sort of foul, and Marblehead is going to have a chance to take the lead with a penalty stroke here.
Yeah,
Taking the stroke for the Magicians is Hayden Lineham. Or is that 18 or 16? It's either Zazulia or Lineham that's taking it. Might be Zazulia.
That's 16, 18.
Zazulia fires and she scores.
And that is actually Lineham, number 18, who finds the back of the cage, and that's just not the start to the fourth quarter the Panthers wanted. Falling behind now 2-1.
Anastasia Zazulia with the goal for Marblehead, my apologies, and that gives them a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, me
just
thinking
a
I
few
was
minutes in.
smart right there, but you had that, JJ. That's why you're play-by-play. Had that under control. That was Anastasia Zazulia who put Marblehead up 2-1.
Well, obviously, Evan, we've spoken about it a ton already, and I'll say it again. Hate to sound like a broken record. We're all shaking off a lot of rust here, not just the athletes, but the broadcasters as well. This is the first time that either of us have been in the booth for quite a bit. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a shorter time. You got to call some Endicott men's and women's basketball games as they went through the playoff stretch just before the outbreak of COVID-19 led to the closing down of pretty much everything for a consistent period of time. Otterbein stepping out aggressively again to knock it out of harm's way. Beverly could have numbers in this particular situation.
Yeah, good play by Otterbein. His Masters was right there in the far post. But Otterbein made sure to step up and knock that away.
Number one whiffs on that pass attempt, and the ball will go back to Marblehead. So a 2-1 lead now for the Magicians. 6 counting to go in this game.
Yeah, it was a good, strong third quarter from the Panthers, with the Magicians really roaring back here in this fourth quarter. Head coach Collins
great move on that far sideline by Keeney. And she's going to keep it. Keeney moves it up the field, but a great interception there. And it'll stay with Beverly. Well, Evan, we've seen it earlier in this game. Beverly definitely knows how to respond to adversity when they go down by a goal, and it seems like we
so backs against the wall. They know they've got to make the plays. They did that in the third quarter. They came out strong, and they just needed that one chance. They took it to tie it 1-1, and here they are battling once again, trying to
10.5 remaining here at Beverly High School. Panthers looking to draw even once again, as it really has, Evan, been a back and forth battle so far. Towards the sideline here, and it will go out of bounds just right in front of our booth. Ball will be with Marblehead. Beverly continuing to display strong defense in the midfield. There's a bit of miscommunication there will cost Beverly a turnover. Actually, my apologies. In the Panthers' attack.
Yeah, and Tess Keeney has really stood out for me offensively for Marblehead. She's got the first goal for the Magicians, and again, we've seen her in the fourth quarter create some opportunities on the far side of the field.
Pass to the near side for number 1, and she's got some help. All she has to do is get it off. It's blocked out of bounds there. Great defensive effort for Marblehead by Linehan. Hawks moves it up the field. Looking for DuPont. DuPont battles it away from one defender, pushes it back towards the circle, but a good defensive effort by the Magicians once again. Whistle will keep it with Marblehead as one of their defenders took a topple towards the end of that. As we creep under 8 minutes to go in this fourth and final quarter, Marblehead clinging ever so dearly to a 1-goal lead, 2-1 over Beverly. A chance here for some of Marblehead's forwards to use their speed, as chasing that one down is Jane O'Neill. O'Neill now looks to redirect back towards the middle. O'Neill puts it toward goal, and it got blocked on the way in.
That's number 11, Kate Bickle, who had some space there in the far post. Ball wasn't able to get to her, but got to be careful for Beverly for these players. Again, with 7-on-7, players are able to spread out more and create some distance separation against the defenders.
We've seen a return to dominance in terms of offensive end time in this fourth quarter for Marblehead. Marblehead started off this game spending, I would say, the first 6 or 7 minutes in their end after a quick shot by Beverly to start. Chances as well. Push back into the middle, nobody home that time around. As it ricochets all the way over to the near side and now pushed back towards the cage once again. Great defense on this possession by Beverly, as not a single shot allowed on Otterbein during that pressure. Marblehead will keep it. Kane and Whittier makes a move on one defender and now will ricochet it up ahead. Multiple Panthers in that area, however. So, Beverly will look to move it. Up ahead, pass connects, and another one coming, and this time unable to get all that she wanted on it was Lily Shea. Shea, only a freshman, but has seen a decent amount of playing time today in the rotation for Beverly.
Yeah, and played well. It's got to be strange, your first high school game being just 7-on-7. Definitely an adjustment period for her, but she's really looked solid for them. And again, they've had some solid performances around the field thus far from a lot of players, as they, again, playing strong. It's down 2-1.
Long shot from basically the 45-yard line by DuPont was stopped, and it trickles all the way to the far side of the Marblehead defensive end. Panthers have been held scoreless since that goal in the third quarter by number 1. Marblehead, if they can continue to do that for the rest of this game, will come out victorious as they lead 2-1, as we are just about to creep under 5 minutes to go. So, Evan, we've had basically 4 quarters under our belt to start this new high school field hockey season. I've got to say the 7-on-7 action is definitely quite intriguing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. Fast-paced, a lot of players moving up and down the field, ball working quickly up the field. Definitely a fast-paced way to play. I mean, it's obviously a quick sport either way, but it seems just a little more fast-paced.
Otterbein kicks it out right over to where we are.
With the ability to kind of just have that 7-on-7. It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it thus far.
Marblehead to keep it. We're under 5 minutes to go. Back towards the circle, a shot and a save. A rebound goes just wide. There were multiple tips from that far out shot, and it still got into Julia Otterbein, but Bill was up to the task again.
Tasking from you?
Well, I mean, you watch enough field hockey games in your life, eventually you get used to kind of the nuances of how everything is done. Beautiful sport. It really is a lot of action, and when you towards the middle. Otterbein with the save and a whistle will give it back to Beverly. Panthers got to hurry, under 15 seconds to go now. A last chance shot here for the Panthers. Pass up ahead for the one of the senior captains for Beverly, as it will be taken away by Marblehead once again, and the clock will strike 0 in this first game of the year. Final score here today at Beverly High School, a 2-1 victory for the Marblehead Magicians over the Beverly Panthers. Evan, we'll take a minute to talk about what we saw today. Obviously, that first goal by Tess Keeney to break the ice and kind of introduce us to a new season of Northeast Conference field hockey. And that goal obviously was a big one for the Magicians, but answering right back after that was number 1 for Beverly. So obviously what we saw from the Panthers today is they have an ability to respond to adversity.
Absolutely. They battled hard the whole game. That third quarter stood out for me for the Panthers. They really created most of their chances. A lot of good players I saw, whether it was in the back with obviously Otterbein in goal. Jamie Dupont played well as number 1 and forward. Sidney Ruggieri played well in the midfield that I saw. So a lot of names stood out to me. Annie Curtin, defensively, she was awesome. I saw her up front there at the end. So a lot of positives. Obviously a tough 2-1 defeat to open the season, but still a lot of positives for Beverly moving forward. It's still early in the season.
And obviously we can't talk about this game without acknowledging the go-ahead goal that ended up being the winner. And that was scored by number 18, Anastasia Zazulia, and she had a penalty stroke opportunity after Beverly seemed to have kept out a second goal, a penalty called on that defensive play, and it gave the opportunity for Zazulia to take that penalty stroke, and she did not miss a beat on it.
Yeah, some pressure on her to get the ball in the cage there at the penalty corner, but she took up there and buried it again. The senior, she got the experience, didn't show any nerves, able to give them the lead. There were a couple of balls that seemed to go in the net, but Beverly able to keep out, but finally that second one found the back of the cage. So a good performance from Marblehead. They deserved the victory today, but again, both teams fought hard. Beverly never gave up. A lot of scrap and fight in that team, and expect to see a lot of them this upcoming season.
And that is going to do it for us today here at Beverly High School. Once again, for our entire BevCam Sportsnet crew, as well as my partner Evan Alfano, I'm JJ Sylvia, wishing you a good rest of your afternoon.